Hi everybody, hope everyone is feeling great out there. And today we're going to look at a little bit of a deep spiritual meaning of a haiku once again. So I've continued to develop these series, and I just want to say thank you to all those who have actually taken the time to go through this. And there is, for sure, a lovely, beautiful kind of like way of feeling into these beautiful energies we're working with. Before I carry on, I'd like to offer a little bit of gratitude to you guys who are actually showing up. And I kind of got a little gift for you. It will mean you'll have to wait till the end of the video when I can give you that gift. But basically, for those, and I'm sure some of you who come onto this are aware of the energy of Reiki, and it will be a beautiful energy that I'd love to share with you. So if you get to the end of this video, I will explain how I'd like to send you some distant healing, and I'll give you the instructions on how to do that. It just means you have to just watch this video, which I hope is not too much of a hardship for you. But this will encourage you to really allow those words to sink in. And you can, if you want to really let these words sink in with you. Maybe just close your eyes, just relax a little bit, and just let the words wash over you. Let them really absorb into your energy field and see what they mean to you, and allow you to kind of come to your own perception. Because at the end of the day, we all got our own perceptions, and yours may go on a completely different tangent to mine. Perfectly happy with that. I'm not saying my way is right, I'm not saying your way is right. But what we do, we come to our own understanding, and that's what it's all about. Um, with that, I'd like to get on now and see where we go. So, the haiku is as follows: with perfect vision and all the senses heightened, one deer steps forward. And I love looking into the energy of a deer. It's a favorite animal of mine that we can look into. But with these, I break it down line by line. So let's say with perfect vision, what does perfect vision mean to you? And I'm sure for many of us, we're going to go straight to the old eyes. We'll be looking in there, and it's saying like, it allows me that depth of perception, the way of looking around my world, and literally see the world that I have created or you have created. What have you brought into that space? Especially when you're in your homes, the things that are in your room, for example, that you've brought them there. Nobody else has, unless they're gifts, of course. But even if it's a gift, it's down to you to put those gifts where they belong. And so ultimately, your perfect vision, for me, with the eyes anyway, is looking around to see your reality, to see the things that you wish to have there. And that even goes to where you're going to walk. So, or where you're walking to, where you're going. And you may say to me, well, I've always got to walk to work. You put yourself in that workplace, did you not? So when you're walking or driving to work and taking everything in, it is a mirror of your reality. So when you're walking to work and going to taking in all those sights, they are very much part of that kind of like energy that you're interacting with, which you've decided to be a part of. And obviously the eyes, they are tremendous, beautiful, sort of like orbs of creation that truly allow us to interact. If we didn't have our eyes, though, we would literally be relying on our senses, wouldn't we? And not to denigrate any of those senses, but they can't really give us those depths of color, the depths of kind of like hues, interpreting people's expressions, for example. And some of us, let's go to the old adage, some of us eat with our eyes, don't we? You look at something appealing on a plate, you think, oh wow, that really looks nice, as opposed to a big old pile of sludge. You think, ugh, oh, look at that. So our eyes are very much a useful perception. But when I come back to as well, there's another way of looking at it, isn't there? With perfect vision. So with perfect, we look for the ultimate, don't we? We look to things as good as they can possibly be. And so our perfect vision, when you think maybe more as a goal, for example, of like what you'd love to bring forward into your life, that for me is really kind of like using your vision in a different aspect, not so much the eyes here. It's like what your thoughts, what your energy wishes to create. So What does your energy wish to create? What is your perfect vision? I'd love to hear that in the comments. What is your perfect vision? My perfect vision for myself right now is to continue to build this lovely little place, my little YouTube kind of like family, as I call you guys here, because you are very much part of this environment. I mean, if you guys weren't here watching, I wouldn't be doing this. So for me, this is a perfect vision. Not so much having thousands and thousands of subscribers. I'm way short of that anyway. But for me, it's just like having a chance for you guys to see what I'm saying and liking to hear what your thoughts are, genuine thoughts about what your perfect vision is. It could be the most beautiful family. It could be living in the most perfect home. Or it could be just having that beautiful, generous nature and having your tribe around you. It's not for anybody to judge. It's purely your perfect vision and where you see your life going. So I'd like you, when you're letting these words sink in, really kind of like tap into yourself and think, what is my perfect vision? And maybe just write that down on a piece of paper to one side and just look at it and just think, that's where I want to go. And the next stage, obviously, is to get you there. And then the next line of that little haiku, and all the senses heightened. Now, clearly, we started with perfect vision. We're thinking of the eyes there. But the deer, for example, it's a wonderful animal that is truly in tune with the energy. So you're likely to meet a deer, aren't you, in sort of like probably in woodland. That's kind of their natural habitat. I know sometimes off in like, sort of like grass fields and stuff, you'll sometimes see them, especially if they're in reserves and that kind of things, or big parks. They have deer parks and the like. You may see them there. But the deer, for me, has brilliant hearing. To be fair, most animals do, don't they? Have brilliant hearing, and they are able to like kind of sense like vibration or rustling in the undergrowth. They're like, "What's that? Who's there? Is that a predator, or is it just a little mouse that I don't need to be concerned about?" So deers are incredibly in tune with their surroundings. The sense of smell, like again, like cats, dogs, or whatever, is so far superior to us. I mean, we can perceive like sort of like perfumes and the like, gives us a nice feeling. With a deer, they're just on another level, aren't they? They could probably sniff out people's moods, on of a better word. I mean, that's kind of curious, isn't it? I wonder if you could actually smell what someone's mood is like. How would that feel? How would you describe anger, for example? How would you describe love? Love, I mean, you could think to yourself, love would probably be a nice kind of like the scent of flowers, petals, for example. Anger might be ash on a fire. So, why not indulge our imagination a little bit, and we'll see what we can do with that. But when we come back to the deer is very much about being in tune, ears, sense these. And also, I'm going to call the more kind of like ethereal side, if you like, the ethereal energy, which is that just that kind of with everything, if you shut everything off, a deer would be able to feel what it's like. And I'd like all of us to work on our senses a little bit, of course, not forgetting the touch as well. Um, but I'd like you to sort of like almost deprive yourself of all senses. So imagine like you're blindfolded. Probably not going to suggest this, but sort of like doing this to your nose to cut that. And just concentrate on your ears. What are your ears picking up? And then maybe doing the opposite. Cover your eyes, put some headphones on, and just purely work with your sense of smell. Taste, obviously, is another one. When we go for our taste, and just like the deer would taste it, if it wasn't right, it would no doubt it would spit it out, or in the first place, just lick and feel what does this feel like? What taste is that giving me? So again, when you bite into something, if you deprived all your senses, bit into an apple and take your time eating that apple, what does it taste like? Really taste like? Because let's be honest, in these days and ages, and I'm the same, you get your food, you're like bang, 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 fry it in there, and you've not it feels like a taste of some description, but not really. And I know there's certain brands of crisps, for example, I swear they are like drugs, where you find eating one, and suddenly before you know it, you're stuffing all day. You're not actually tasting it because it's just like this craving, isn't it? But if you actually taste it, take your time, mindful eating, for want of a better word, really kind of like chewing the matter over in your mouth, getting a sense of taste, and suddenly it's a good way of recognizing and thinking, actually, this thing I'm actually eating is not really that nice. I found recently that I've changed my habits a little bit, eating habits of eating sugary stuff, for example. And if I suddenly eat a chocolate bar now, it just tastes so sickly because beforehand my taste buds were inured to those sensations. And now it's more a case of sort of like, oh, eating this and I don't like it very much. Whereas I used to, couldn't get enough of it. So when we actually really kind of like get into the taste of things, it does kind of like heighten our awareness. And the ultimate, of course, is to deprive yourself of all senses and just sit in that energy. What are you perceiving? What are you feeling? It's a great way of getting in tune with yourself and really kind of like getting to that sense of what matters for me right now, what is important, and blanking everything else out. That, for me, is certainly stepping into that heightened awareness. And then we come to the final line. One deer steps forward. And I'd like us again now just to imagine that you're out in a, just imagine you're walking through the woods and out of nowhere this magnificent deer appears before you. It could be a female, a doe, or it could be this magnificent stag. And I've, it's rarely happened. It did happen to me once when I was walking the woods around here. I just saw this thing bolt out in front of me. I thought it was a dog because it was so quick. And then there was just this deer just stood there for a second, and I just looked up in amazement that it shot off again. But I just felt so blessed that it actually could come in to meet me. Because you think about it, deers, they are aware of us long before we're even close to their energy. So that deer's literally had the time to look at me, give me the once over, and think, hey, he's all right. I don't mind stepping out in front of him if I had a bad. So my energy must have been good because if my energy was bad, they are so in tune, they would not have even approached. They wouldn't even have been aware of you. You'd hear a rustle in the undergrowth somewhere as they sped off. So for that deer to actually appear in front of me just for that briefest of moments, because obviously they are quite a nervous animal as a rule, it was just a beautiful blessing. And this is what this is about. So sometimes those animals appear almost to bless you with their presence. And the deer, when you think, it's got such a lovely soft energy. They are so kind of like in tune. For me, it's almost like that unicorn energy in a way, you know. And it's just this softness, this delight. And so when I would say to you, whatever you're doing, if you ever feel the energy of a deer, you know, sometimes we do card readings, you might get a deer. That for me is a message for us all to be soft with ourselves, to be gentle with yourself. Don't beat yourself up. It's something that often comes up with car readers because like people come along and they say like, oh, I'm doing this wrong. I haven't done that. Oh, what if I would have done this differently? It's okay. It's gone. Stop living in the past. It's the present moment that matters. And the deer will get in touch with your heart center. It's a soft, gentle energy. For me, it's like that rose petal energy. And just imagine what it would be like to be a deer, to be in that beautiful, sacred space and share that energy with us. If you've ever had those experiences, I'm sure some of you watching this will have had that. Please again share your thoughts. I mean, I'd love to hear those, and I will always reply. You know, unless one day I've got thousands of subscribers, that could be difficult. But at the moment, it's not a problem. I will reply as much as I can, and I just love that interaction. So think of the deer, what that means to you, how soft, how delicate, and how graceful that energy is. Stepping forward, one deer steps forward. And I think that again, that's incumbent upon ourselves to step forward with your life. Life will always evolve, whether you're aware of it or not. You cannot stay still. Even just sitting down all day, you might think, well, I'm not moving. You are, because the earth is moving around the sun at 33,000 miles an hour, whatever the hell it is. I think it's 60 odd thousand miles. Please put me right on the comments there, 'cause I can't quite remember. Uh, but that is the speed we're moving. So we are moving, whether we're aware of it or not, because the Earth's moving and we're on the Earth. So therefore, just like if you're in a car, you are moving. And our energy is moving all the time. But it comes to us to inspire ourselves to what we want to do. We want to step forward in our lives, don't we? So how do we step forward? An obvious way is through learning. Step forward. You might think to yourself, I'd like things to change. So to transmute that energy, you'd start maybe learning a course, for example. Um, maybe I choose anything that comes into mind, accountancy. If that's your thing, you suddenly get this yearning to improve your life, and you'd like to do a job with a bit more money and also learn some skills with finance. Maybe that's the way to go. Um, and then you would take the steps, wouldn't you? Something told you to do that, and then you would start researching. Look what courses are available, what you can kind of like sort of like craft for yourself and others, because this is what it's all about at the end of the day. We're helping others, we're helping ourselves. So that is really how we step forward. And remember, you think to yourself, where did that thought come from? Have you ever thought of that? We suddenly had this yearning to do something. That, my friend, is your inspiration talking to you. It would come in and like suddenly think like I suddenly feel compelled to do something. It's an action moving you forward, not sitting back and just sort of like doing nothing, which is still doing something. So this is my advice to you. Think around what you'd like to change, where you'd like to go next. And then this is the nub. It's down to you to make it happen. So take the action. You'll be shown something, and you probably, if something is coming, you're going to keep being shown something. Um, Especially in this day and age with social media, where it will actually you type something in and suddenly your whole feed is filled with those very same energies. So make it work for you. See what works for you and go forward. Well, that's my message for today. But I did promise at the very start of this little mini broadcast that I'd love to send some distant healing to some of you chaps and ladies. And what I shall do is say to you now, if you write in rake me in the comments below, I will send some healing to you. I'll tell you now when I'm going to send that. I'm going to send that. What is the date? It'll be tomorrow. So today is the 4th. On the 5th of January, I will be sending some healing out at say about 8 o'clock tomorrow evening GMT, Greenwich Mean Time. I shall literally prepare the space after I finish. I'm literally going to set that up now because this is distant healing. And all you need to do is about 8 o'clock tomorrow, just relax, put your hands in a prayer position or whatever, and just say, I'd like to receive the energy that Gary has put out there, the Reiki energy to come into my energy now. And that's all you need to do. Just relax and stay there for about 15, 20 minutes. Allow the energy to come in, to work with you. And then just give me some feedback, guys. Feedback how that was for you, whether you felt that energy or not. Be honest. I'm not asking you to sort of like just say, oh, I felt it when you didn't. Sometimes we don't. But rest assured that healing intent will be sent out to you as a method of gratitude for you bothering to turn up and taking the time to listen to my words. And obviously, I know some of those people would have long gone by now. That's perfectly fine. But those who have stayed, thank you so much. And I wish you all sweet adieu until next I shall do my video. Thank you very much.